Done.
Hi.
We're live.
All right, fantastic. Welcome, folks. Steve Plummer here. I'm joined by, of course, Cam Roberts for Business Insiders and our very special guest today, none other than Mr. Fred Curbage. So, Fred, it's a warm welcome to you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. It's great to be here. Great to be sharing the content with you guys.
Yeah, and thank you very much for giving up your time, Fred. I know how busy you are. As you can see, folks, the slide on the screen there is customer retention, the backbone of any business survival through any economic condition. And look, one of the key things about this, and Cam and I, when we were preparing this and getting Fred on, is that I love that saying that people don't remember necessarily what you said or what you did, but they remember how you made them feel. And when I think of that, if anyone comes to mind, it's Fred Curbage. Fred runs a restaurant down in Chelsea, down in Melbourne. I've been to his establishment over 2 different venues, probably 5 times, 6 times in the last 6 or 7 years. And every time I've left there, I have felt really, really good. I don't remember exactly what I ate, don't remember exactly what I drank, but it was damn good and we had fun and I wanted to go back. Cam, would you concur with that? Because I know you've eaten at Fred's places a couple of times as well.
Yeah, like I obviously don't live anywhere near Fred. You know, he's in Victoria. You're still in Victoria, Fred? Melbourne? Yeah. And I'm up on the Sunshine Coast. But I tell you what, those times that I've eaten at Fred's establishments and restaurants, are unforgettable. You know, I've never had an experience ever since then eating at Fred's restaurants.
Yep, including the one with the belly dancer, but that's for another a story for another time. Look, the other part of that, folks, is I don't want you to think, well, look, I'm not in hospitality. I don't run a restaurant. This isn't relevant to me. I think that's a really big mistake, because what Fred is sharing with you this afternoon are principles that he has learned and developed by himself. We were talking off air that, you know, you can't just go and Google this stuff. This is raw and real and live and from the trenches. And, you know, we've also been in the same training rooms at times, and not one of those rooms was ever titled How to Retain Customers in a Global Pandemic. So Fred has taken principles that have been taught and he's adapted them to his industry. And I would encourage you to adopt that same mindset this afternoon with what Fred shares, and adapt them to your industry. So without any further ado, Fred, please share your expertise on customer retention. Mate, it's over to you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. As the gentlemen's both let you guys introduce, it's customer retention. It's the backbone of any business survival through any economic condition. If you know how to retain your customers, you got to have a massive business. I have been, just a bit of background about myself, I've been in the hospitality for over 36 years. I buy and sell restaurants. I buy them, I set them up, run down businesses, and I end up selling them for a good profit. My first business I bought back when I was 21 years old, completing my last year of Bachelor of Commerce degree at Deakin University. Now that business I bought alone for $70,000, which was only doing $3,000 turnover a week, which now I know I've paid too much for it. And I sold it doing $31,000 a week. And that only used to trade 6 nights a week, no breakfast, no lunches. It was an award-winning local business. For the last 5 years I had it. So the reason I'm telling you this is the knowledge I'm giving you, or the knowledge I'm sharing with you, has got me to where I am today. From the early days, customer focus and retention was my main goal. Like, you had to read the customer, you had to know what the customer wanted. And this brings me to let you know what the business survival is dependent on 3 variables, in my point of view. First of all, the quality of your product. You must have a good product. Food, your packaging, your presentation of the actual product must be A1. It says a lot about your business, whether you're presenting on, you know, nicely colourful plates, whether you're presenting in the takeaways in the beautifully presented boxes. It says a lot about your business. It says a lot. Do these guys actually care about their business? Secondly is the speed of delivery and your service. We're in the internet age and we want everything now. So if someone comes into our restaurant to dine in, they don't want to be waiting hours. You know, they want it 15 to 20 minutes any main meal should be on the table. As for delivery, we quote half an hour. We're there within the 25-minute. And the price. So price is essential, but be careful here. It doesn't mean the cheapest. I learned from a very young age, you must provide value. Now, guys, I'll say that again because it took me years to understand what value is. You must provide value. And in your industry, I know what value is in my industry. It's providing, nice quality meals, plenty on the plate, not these little, pieces of chicken or veal or plenty with, 5, 6 different kinds of veggies on the plate. People paying the $25 to $30 for a main course are saying, wow, we got what we paid for and more. So once you know what the meaning of value is in your industry, believe me, you're going to kick some goals.
Fred, can I just jump in there and ask you? You said something. You said something it took you years to work out what value meant. Can you just unpack that a little bit? Because I think on the surface, it's easy to say, well, hang on, what do you mean? The value is just like you said, you fill up your plate with food, but it's not as simple as that, is it?
No. I asked once an old friend of mine, a very successful person, and I said to him, how come everyone else is doing what you're doing, but you seem to be making all the money? And he turned around and he said to me, value. And I said, what do you mean by value? He goes, you go figure it out for yourself in your business, right? You search for it. And when you know what value is, come back and let me know what you think it is. So in our business, value is giving them good quality meals. Value is welcoming the people. Value is an overall experience. Value is speed. So it's a combination of a lot of things for the overall experience. It's not just plenty of food on the plate, packing the food on the plate. Good quality food, nicely presented with a smile. You've got to have the right staff on. You've got to have the right surrounding. So value, wow, it's got a massive, massive meaning in any industry.
So, Fred, I want to jump in and just ask you something. You talked about, adding value, putting a smile on people's faces. And I've eaten at your restaurants, and I know you do that and your team do that. But can you share with the listeners, like, how do you teach that, or how do you coach that, or how do you get your staff or team members to do what you do very well?
Incentives, Cam. I always put incentives there for my staff.
That's interesting.
I always put incentives, and I always walk the room with them, and I make them take notice. Like, I'll give you an instance. I've got a young girl working for me currently, and I had some new customers that have visited us twice for takeaway due to the COVID-19 restrictions. I picked up that they're from Mount Eliza, which is a affluent suburb. They do have money. They like to go out and dining. So when the restrictions were lifted, they actually came into the restaurant and dined there. Now, hence, I took the young girl there. I showed her what we're doing, how we're going to structure their whole night experience so they're going to get a wow factor, right? So we complimented them with a garlic and cheese focaccia. It's just simple. Like, you got to have the trigger point. So I said, this is a complimentary garlic focaccia and cheese. I hope you enjoy. Let me know when you're ready to order. They ordered drinks. We started them off with entrees, with main, and we buttered them up with a bit of complimentary gelati towards the end of it. Now, the guy, when he got up and left, I knew exactly what he was going to do. So I let the girl take the counter. She took the counter. He paid his $280 bill via credit card, on his business credit card, and he tipped the young girl a $50 tip. She nearly fell over. She looked at me and she said, wow. And I said to her, it's all because of you, what you actually did. You actually smiled. You actually took care of them. Now, and that's the system that we run at our establishment.
Yeah, so, that's really good.
You gotta train your staff. You got to be passionate, and you got to lead the way. You can't be a boss demanding things. You got to be a leader, and that's what I do at the restaurant, and that's what creates me success. And I've said it over and over and over a lot of times. You got to lead the team. You got to be there in the trenches with them. You can't be just telling them what to do.
Yeah, that's really good, Fred. Good.
Yeah. And I love that. Figure out what value means for your industry. You know, you have to, and like Fred said, it's not a simple, quick fix, right? You have to think long and hard about that. So, you know, that could change people's businesses right now. So, thanks for that one, Fred. All right, let's keep pushing on.
Now, before we begin and talk about customer retention, I thought I'd share this little slide with you, which really touched my heart, and I've got it plastered all over my kitchen wall for the staff, new staff that are comers, people that are there to actually keep reading. And if anyone steps out of line or is not in a good mood, I actually walk them over there and I say, please refer to this.
That is gold.
What is a customer? You've got to understand what a customer is. They're the most important person at your station. They're not dependent on you. You are dependent on them. They're not an interruption of your work. They are the purpose of it. You're not doing them a favor by serving them. You know, most staff, might turn up their nose when a customer walks in. They're doing you a favor by giving you the opportunity to do so. They're not an outsider to your business. They're part of it. They're the flesh and blood human beings with feelings and emotions, just like yourself. They're not someone to argue with or match wits with. Nobody's ever won an argument with a customer. Now, guys, I just want to stop you there at one point, because a lot of hospitality owners or business owners want to argue with a customer about a certain point. Just fix it. You know, it's so simple. If someone rings up and they've got, their pizza's not hot or the food's delivered, 20 minutes late, half an hour late, whatever the reason is, no problem at all. Compliment it to them. Usually they ring up and they want to have an argument with you. And I turn around and I say, I'm so sorry. It hardly happens, but I take a backward step and I say, I'm so sorry. What can I do to make it right for you? Automatically, their tone of voice changes. They're wanting to put up a fight with you because they're disgruntled over something. And the moment you turn around and say, mate, I am sorry, what can I do to do it right for you? And you fix the problem and you get to know their name and you get to know what is the real issue and you work it out with them, mate, you've got them for life. So a bad situation, you can turn it into an opportunity to keep this customer forever dining at your establishment. So that's very, very important. A lot of people jump up and down. And in the internet age, you can't be bothered having an argument with the customer because social media is a killer for most businesses.
That's great stuff.
Instead of giving a bad review, they turn around and say, well, this happened. Also, they are the person who brings you their wants. It's your job to handle them. So it's very, very important slide. I love it. I always refer back to it and I always show new staff that through it all the time. We have a laugh about it, but they're serious. And this is what I really mean. If you can do that, you can work here. If you can't do that, I've got no place for you here. It's as simple as that.
And even though it's in 1955, Fred, it still stands true today in 2020.
Massive, Ken. Massive.
Yeah.
Massive. So if you can master customer retention, you're going to skyrocket your business. Without return customers, we all know your business is dying very quickly. It's a lot cheaper to get an existing customer to do business with you than to acquire new ones. And as a business owner, you must build a system that keeps your customers coming back each and every single time. And Coach Cam is a guru at that with all his sales strategies, and he's the master of this. I totally have so much respect for him. His sales seminars are just mind-blowing. I was the first one to actually put my hand up and register because I knew I was going to get value out of this guy. And that's what he gave us. He gave us massive value. He's the guru of sales, and hands down. Loyalty programs are a great idea to introduce business to your people to your business. But if you rely on them, I believe in the end it's costing your bottom line. So if you run coffee cards or loyalty cards, for us it's coffee cards. If you run them 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, you're going to lose out in the end, because we started running coffee cards as soon as we opened our business. I actually went a step further, and I think, guys, just take a little bit of a notice here. I went a step further than saying buy 9, get your 10th for free. I actually went around to every single business in the area, and I questioned every single person there. How many do you have working for your company? Some say 6, some say 10. I made black coffee cards that stood out, with a gold knot around it. We're new to the area. We just wanted you to try our coffee, and here's 6 free coffee per employee you got working for you. So there was no conditions, no strings attached. That was the heading. No strings attached. We just wanted you to try our coffee and tell us what you thought. And you might turn around and say, why 6? Because the average, it takes 3 times for a customer to enter your premises to become a regular. I go to my, why should I risk 3? I'll go 6. I'll go double. Make sure they stay there. You with me? So we started that off. That took off massive. So they'd use it once. Listen to this, guys. They'd use it once.
They forget.
Twice, because they'll be too embarrassed. They want to pay the second time and the third time because they appreciate what you did for them.
Yeah. So that's really good.
I think too that gets back to Fred knows his market, right?
Yeah.
Fred knows who his customers are, and he knows what value means to them, and that's huge.
So
that's right. A lot of reciprocity too. Like, you're giving so much value, Fred, and your product is so good, and the service is so great. By the time they get to the third coffee, they're obligated to pay.
100%. And you got to remember this, guys, where I am situated now. I've got a massive franchise right next to me in the arcade. So we're side by side. That was the coffee club. That was set there 6 years prior to me entering the arcade. I came in later. They actually, unfortunately, closed down 1.5 years ago. It's all about customer retention. If you don't look after your customers, someone else will. So we went back to the buy 9, get your 10th for free for a little while. And we were giving on average 25 coffees a day for free. Now you figure that out, 25 coffees a day times 7 days, that's 175 coffees. Times $4.40, that's $770 just gone. Right? So when our competitor next door, unfortunately, was no longer there, I made the call and I said, we're not going to run coffee cards anymore. And, a lot of my staff and my wife, who's also my business partner, turned around and said, I think it's the wrong call you'd be making. I said, well, only time will tell. Believe me, and I swear to you, there has not been a reduction or a decrease in the coffee sales turnover. It's actually increased.
Yeah.
So, you use these loyalty programs to capture people in to try your product. Your product must be the best product ever. You must believe in your product. If you do not believe in your product and it's the best one up there and you're continually improving it, no one's a master of anything. They just got to keep learning. You got to just keep learning how to make better coffee, how to use better milk, how to source better beans. It's continuous. The moment you stop is the moment where you're going to hit a brick wall. Someone else will come over and overtake you. It's easy to get to the top of the mountain, but staying there is the hardest thing.
I like how you were fluid though, Fred. Like you were fluid that you created a concept where it actually pulled, from what I'm reading in between the lines, it actually pulled customers away from a big franchise, the coffee club. But as soon as they weren't there anymore and the competitors weren't there, again, you changed and got fluid really quickly to adapt.
You got to know your market always.
Yeah.
Thirdly, you must be the number one choice in their mind every time they want to dine out with you. I promise you guys, I've had people who come in once, they come in twice, 3 times a week to dine in with us. Every business must have raving fans that promote you via word of mouth, social media, for the quality of your brand and service. And please note, you and your staff must believe that your product is the best around. This is very crucial. You and your staff must believe your product is the best around. I get my staff to sample the products we got, the food we got. They look at the food that we bring out of the kitchen. and they go, wow, it looks awesome. It puts a smile on their face taking the food out to the table.
Yeah, that's good.
So many nights we've just put pizzas to the side or a certain dish to the side. It's not 100%. Do another one. It's a lot easier to do another one than to get a complaint. Or it's very important. Your product must be the best. And we believe we've got the best homemade pasta, amazing wood-fired pizza, a great atmosphere. And very, very important part is we make the kids feel very happy. We settle them in, whether it means drawing cards, whether it means any toys we might have there, free ice cream. That's the thing that captures them. And then once the kids are fine, the kids are happy, their parents want to go there again, and the kids want to drag their parents again. So that's, customer retention doesn't just go for the family, it goes for the kids as well. I've got families, I promise you guys, and I don't mean to be, showcasing anything here. I'm just telling it to you raw because, a lot of businesses, 7 out of 10 restaurants are going broke. 7 out of 10 restaurants are going broke because, it's tough times out there. You know what I mean? So if you're not doing anything differently, and if you're not stepping up, unfortunately, your business is not going to survive.
Fred, I can't even remember the last time I went to a restaurant and someone gave me free ice cream for the kids, but there wasn't asked for. You know what I mean? Now, Cam. Not only do I do it, for the past 2 months, I've got 2 boys. I've got a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old. It's their duty. They've taken it upon themselves to actually give kids free ice cream. So they go out and say, come on, come up, choose an ice cream. My kids, I swear to you, and I had nothing to do with it. I built it. Did not tell them to do it. They quickly picked it up and they said, well, Dad's doing it. It's the right thing to do. So we step up and do it. And people just love it. They come and thank us, and they're just, it's nice. You know what I mean? I remember, Cam, you posted something on social media about 3-4 years ago. Yeah.
How disappointed you were. You went to a cafe early in the morning.
Yeah.
And they were stacking up tables and chairs outside. And you wanted to go have a coffee. And they said, sorry, we don't open for another 15 minutes.
That's right, 15 minutes.
Right? So that really got you. Now, believe me, we open at 7, right? We open at 7. And while we're setting up, we got a massive area outside where we set up. While we're setting up, if a customer walks in, we just leave what we're doing and we go make them a coffee. We make them feel great. Yeah. And they actually feel bad. They say, sorry, mate, I actually stopped you from doing something. My mate, you're the most important thing here at the station. You are the most important. Without you, I don't need to put tables and chairs outside.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Exactly. So it goes back. It goes, how do you make them feel? Every single step, that's how you got to be thinking. If you don't think like that, your competitors are going to think like that, and they're going to take them away from you.
And just extrapolating that out then, Fred, so what is, for your industry, what's your version of free ice cream for the kids, right? That your business, your industry, your niche will have a free ice cream for the kids. What can that be?
Well, you're saying in another business?
Yeah, no, I'm rhetorically asking, if I'm challenging our listeners, work out for your business what your actual version of free ice cream is. Now, in your business, you give kids free ice cream. What will other businesses do? That's for them to answer, Fred, not for you right now.
Okay, I'll touch on that quickly. O'Brien Real Estate, who we have a massive affiliation with, they've got about 33 corporate offices here. They've always got something lying around in the office for the kids. So when kids enter with their parents to sign a contract or view properties or whatever, they've always got gifts for the kids that they can take away with them. They've got a family fun day for the kids. That's why they're so successful. They're the fastest growing real estate firm in Melbourne. And that's what it is. You've got to be able to offer something, to the kids. They can take away, and they've got it sitting there. It's O'Brien Real Estate, or it's Cucina Dolce. So you got to figure it out, and it's pretty ezy. It is pretty easy. It's not a hard thing. People love getting something for nothing.
Yeah, it's good. Totally.
All right. Another point that I'd really like people to really digest here is you've got 3 seconds to make an impression when a customer enters your premises, whether to stay or leave. And I repeat, that's 3 seconds, not 3 minutes, 3 seconds. The moment The moment a customer walks through the front door, before they get to the counter, we're greeting them with a loud voice. Hey, how are you? How you doing? You know, not what can I get you? It's automatically, hi, how are you? How you doing? You know, they come up to you, and then you ask them a simple question: would you like to dine in with us, or is it takeaway, or is it just coffee?
Yeah, that's good.
The ability to guide the customers through the shopping experience, from the simple process of ordering a coffee to dining out or ordering online with you, determines whether he or she is going to dine out with you again.
Yeah,
so if you've got a complicated online ordering system, forget about it. It's not going to work. If they're going to come through, they've got to go through 2 counters to order their coffee, it's not going to work. If they're going to come in, they don't know where they're going to. They're new people coming into your restaurant. You got to be able to hug them. 3 seconds, guys. That's all you got. 3 seconds. And a lot of places I go to, and I'm waiting for 3 minutes to get served or to get greeted. You know what I mean? That's when I turn around and say, great. Yeah. Before I set up this restaurant, I went to various restaurants around the area. You know, some at 1 o'clock during the day, I promise you, I went there with my family. And I said, we're here for lunch. And the guy didn't even speak to me for about 3 minutes. He was actually speaking to somebody else who happened to be repairing something at the restaurant. So it wasn't like another customer or anything.
Yeah.
Another tradie. And I walked in, and at 1 o'clock wanting to eat, and they turn around and they said, the kitchen's closed. I said, mate, that's fantastic. I said, thank you very much. And I walked down. I said, I've got no competition here. If this is what I'm getting, I've got no competition. Our barista, who happens to be my wife, she simplifies the process for people. She's got a great memory, right? And she remembers customers' orders and name. So we've got this massive, we've got 2 shop fronts. We've got 12 meters of Nepean Highway, all glassed off. So we see customers walking up in the morning. The last thing you want to do is make them wait. So their coffee starts getting poured before they actually walk into the place. So it's like, g'day, Steve, how are you? How you going? There's your coffee. And he's like, wow, already ready to go.
Yeah, that's good.
They know. Otherwise, going and waiting 15 minutes in the morning, then they've got, everyone's running late. Everyone's running late to work. We've got so much to do. We've got so many things to get organised. So that's a massive, massive, massive. And I make a joke of it all the time to customers. I say, wow, she remembers your coffee. I'm her husband. She doesn't even remember mine. So that's a bit of an answer. It's really important, guys. It's really, really, really important, because if you massage your customers, if you do the right thing with them, believe me, we've had the strongest few months. I released some figures to Steve yesterday. He just couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? We've actually increased massively throughout this COVID-19.
Yeah, that's good.
But all based on what you're talking about now, Fred, right? No, nothing else. It's based on what you're sharing now.
I promise you, this is it. You got to find out also what makes your customers tick. Like, we got football here in Melbourne. It's massive. Everyone knows we're Carlton supporters. My boys, rave on with customers about it, and we talk about it. So you got to know what makes your customer tick. Does he want to talk about football? Does he want to talk about cricket? Coach Cameron, don't talk to him about anything of these. Talk about triathlon. In order to start a conversation with him. Talk about time. So you got to know what makes a particular person tick, and it's not hard, and then you got to reward them. Like, for example, if I give out AFL corporate tickets to Coach Cameron, he'd laugh at me. He doesn't like football properly. He likes rugby because he's coming up from another state. So you got to understand, you got to make an effort. You got to make an effort to know your customer. Once you know your customer, you know what makes them tick, and that's when they're going to see you. Wow, this guy actually cares about me. Another point I like to touch on is making customers feel part of your success. Right? This is crucial, because during the pandemic, when it first hit, we didn't cut back on our cake orders. Usually customers were coming for a coffee and a cake to dine in. We've got a big dining section. But when dining wasn't allowed, we just left the cake orders as they were. So what we did, we used it as a marketing idea to thank the customers that are still coming out. A lot of people were in lockdown, guys. You got to understand, a lot of people didn't come out. Others came out for a coffee because they were allowed to grab their coffee. So those people actually went the extra distance to support us. So what we did with their coffee, they'd receive a scone, they'd receive a fruit toast, whatever we got going, whatever we had there, a piece of cake, we just gave it away, And they were just mind-blowing. Oh, no, you can't do that. I say, no, thank you for coming out and supporting us. You know, how's that going to make that person feel? You know, it's about it. No one's really interested in the money they pay for something if they're getting looked after. If they're getting value. We go back to value, guys. It's value. You know, if you're really looking after them, if you're really nourishing them, if you're really meeting their needs, hey, you've got them for life. They're not going to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Sponsorship's an important part of local teams. Now, we sponsor everybody in the area. Football team, Chelsea football team, my kids play there. I sponsor seniors and juniors, Chelsea Red Cross, M&D events, Edithville Pelican Basketball Club, Cricket Club, local charity schools. We never say no to sponsorship. You heard me right. We never say no to sponsorship or donations of any kind. Before I came to start this seminar, I had some people coming to see me from Karen Bowling Club, who we're just reaching a sponsorship agreement with. But of course, you can't give everyone massive amount of sponsorship. You know, it just keeps circulating your name within the community. Some get vouchers, some get money. You know, look, for an example, one of our customers' dog was having an operation and it was going to cost them a lot of money. They posted it on our Facebook page. So we donated on behalf of the restaurant. Guess what? Not only the customer came, her mum comes in there, her father comes in, and her sister. Just for, you know, over a $50 donation.
Yeah, that's good.
So just keep your name circulating, keep supporting people, because eventually it just comes back to you. Everyone loves referrals. Everyone loves referring good businesses.
It's about being part of the community, isn't it, Fred? Like, you make yourself part of the community.
100%. 100%. And you walk around, Cam, really, without sounding too arrogant, you walk around with your head up, held high, and you're showing the rest of your family, your kids, this is what we need to do in our community. This is what you need. You know, you're growing up, and this is what I need to install in you to become better people, because we need all of that, you know. And talking back to the community, you know, during the month of April, we put a campaign, and we called it Put a Smile on Your Face, because that's when the COVID-19 really hit, and you heard a lot of stories. So we launched the campaign for the month of April. We joint ventures with Hair Moves, who's right next to me in the arcade, and O'Brien Real Estate. And my idea was to feed 3 families every day, right? Feed 3 families every day for free, and also a complimentary cut and blow wave for the Queen of the House, just to put a smile on their face.
Good, yeah.
So the selection criteria was it had to be local, so it stayed within your community, and people who were doing it tough. So their friends would message us via our Facebook page, telling us a story, giving us contact phone numbers. We'd call them up, we'd organise it, and they'd break down in tears. I promise you. The messages and gratitude we received were amazing. And, you know, and the funny thing is when, you know, that month ended, people who we actually looked after ended up coming back to thank us and bought something off us. And their friends and families, you know, thanked us and said that, oh, because you did this to so-and-so, we're actually supporting you because we showed we care. This made the papers, you know, we were in the papers, we're in their Facebook page, they came out, they photographed the business, and, you know, and they thanked us for what we're doing for the community, you know. So people want to support businesses who support them during tough times. Look at this photo. Yeah. Look at the photo of this beautiful lady. She was the first one that we actually delivered to. You know, she lived with her son. She was doing it very tough, hardly had anything to eat. And, you know, we really broke down when we got this photo sent through. And the funniest thing was, Cam, is that she actually gave half of the delivery to her neighbour because her neighbour was suffering through tough times.
Yeah, that's good.
You know, it's just amazing when you know that you're making a difference. Now, something that we really hone in on is promo codes for customer retention. Promo codes are massive. And what we do, we don't limit them to the number of times you can use them. So you can use them as many times as you want. Minimum spend has to be $35. So if you only spent $35, you're only giving a 14% discount. So we've got some that go on Google, which is GO5. So if you order from us, you insert GO5, you get $5 off. And we know, we track you. We know where you're coming from. You're coming from Google.
Yeah, smart.
So then we've got direct mail, which is the best form of advertising. I swear by it. We do social media, Facebook, pay-per-click, SEOs. We do the whole lot. But the best form of advertising for us is direct mail. Now, this is the FLY flyer. Can you see that, guys, here?
Just a little bit closer there, Fred.
Can you see that? So that's FLY 5. That's the first one. So this was running before the pandemic hit. So we're given $5 off. Automatically, when the pandemic happened, I quickly released the new flyer, and the heading was open during lockdown. Can you see that, Cam?
That's good. Yeah, that's good, Fred.
And what we did is we gave $7 off.
Yeah.
So we increased it, and we were quick to hand that out.
And just to jump in, Fred, you're talking about, direct mail advertising there, just for the listeners and those that are watching. Who got these flyers? How did you get them out into the community?
Funny thing is that I've got a group of people that actually work for us direct. And actually what actually happening is, instead of putting staff off, I did not put any of my staff members off during the pandemic. What I said to them, I said, "Hey guys, what I need you to do is a little bit different. I need you to go out and hand out flyers. You get to walk the dog, do whatever you want to do. Hand out the flyers, you get paid for them, and you get fed at the restaurant." So they were wrapped.
Interesting there, though. Again, there's your free ice cream, right? They got paid and they got fed at the restaurant. And that's a massive thing. Your default position, Fred, is you are putting things in the emotional bank account before you're withdrawing from it, with customers and with staff. And it's a massive learning for everyone.
And now this is the third flyer. So we've gone back to FLY 6. So you get $6 off. And this is a great one. A lot of you guys would love this one. If you order $80 worth of food from Cucina Dolce, you insert the code, you get a free 6-pack. How good is that?
That is gold, Fred.
Do you deliver to Queensland, Fred?
So so you only and the catch here, guys, you only get to use one code. You can't put 3-4 codes on the same one, right? So you've got to put one code, and the code here is as it says here, free beer. You know what I mean? So you get 6-pack. Now, perceived value is $28 for a 6-pack delivered to your door, because we deliver alcohol with our food as well if requested. But the actual cost to me is $12.50. That's what it costs me for a 6-pack.
Fred, can I jump in there and ask you, are you able to share with the folks your percentage return on that, or on your direct?
Mate, I've got no problem at sharing it, but a lot of people just wouldn't believe your results, Steve. I went through it. I've showed you time where I've received 44% return, and that's just you're the guru of all this stuff, and you just went, "Wow, you're kidding me."
Right. Direct mail, right? If you get 3%, you are over the moon, right? It's usually sort of 0.5 to 3% is just fantastic, and French. Yeah, so it's a phenomenal result.
Our average is about 32 to 34%, but we've hit times where we've just gone, wow, you know what I mean? And the great thing about it, you don't have to sit there and answer your phone. Everything comes through on computer. Everything gets paid online. They put everything online. So I'm not driving. I would love my next restaurant or my next invention.
Which will be on the Sunshine Coast, all right? I'm just saying the weather's beautiful up here, Fred.
No phone lines. Everything's online. Everything's driven online. You order online. You pay online. You get your delivery on finished. Everything. So everything is basically online, and that's where we're heading. So, and that's why we were so strong. Our online went up by about 260% during this pandemic. It's just crazy. Wow. Numbers that are just crazy. You share it with someone, they say, this guy's, out of this world. You know what I mean? A lot of people say to us, "Oh, have you applied for the JobKeeper?" What JobKeeper? We're doing better than what we were before, And they just look, and these are restaurant owners as well. And, you just got to learn to adapt. You really learn. We got hit the first 2 weeks. I'm not trying to sound arrogant or anything. We got hit the first 2 weeks of the pandemic where people didn't know what was happening. This has never happened before. We didn't know what was happening. We did drop. We did drop 30%, but hey, that was only for 2 weeks. And then what captured after that was just phenomenal, and it's still strong. Like, we're winter here in Melbourne. I'm on the beach. I'm on Chelsea Beach. It's the worst time of the year, and we're doing summer figures at the moment. So
that's good.
You go figure that.
There's a lot of businesses, Fred, in the restaurant industry as normal businesses as well. They'd be scared to give something away like what you did. That perceived value of $28 or that 6-pack. What would you say to someone that's watching this at the moment and they think, oh, I can't give that away. It's going to cost me too much money.
Mate, they got to see a lot of Cam. We go back again and we talk to. You've got to be educated on marketing. You got to understand marketing. If you do not know marketing, if you think, you ask someone what's marketing, you know what most restaurant owners say to you? It's a cost.
Yeah, right.
Marketing. Wow. If you automatically say that to me, I'll switch off. Or I have a lot of people that want to talk to me about businesses and how to promote and stuff like that. And I sit there and I listen to them, but they say, I say to them, I print 50,000 flyers at a time. The average restaurant prints 10,000 at a time. I printed 150,000 in less than 2 months, right? And when I tell them what they should be doing, these are friends in businesses. They say to me, mate, you're crazy. All you're doing is spending money to get it back. And I said, well, you're right. So they've got to understand marketing. They've got to understand marketing and the sales process. And by giving something away, right, you're actually giving them something away, but you're also, on the other hand, you're upselling.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
So for this, say for FL5, where you get $5 off, right? If you ring through and you want it over the phone, no problem. We got no problem. We never put any hurdles. So it's online. It's an online promotion. You ring us through and you say, listen, I've seen this. We want online. Automatically, you say, no problem. But
that's right. Make it easy.
With that, we turn around and say, can I get you a nice garlic focaccia drizzled with olive oil and sea salt, nicely cooked in the wood-fired oven?
Yeah.
What are you going to say to that? That's that's $10. You're going to say, oh, yeah, I have that because I'm saving there. I'm going to spend more here.
Yeah.
You end up being in front.
Yeah. And what I like about what you've been doing, Fred, even during a pandemic, even during COVID-19 and lockdowns, you kept marketing and even done your marketing even harder and more smarter. You didn't do what a lot of people did and pulled back. You did the opposite. So when people were zigging, you were zagging.
Mate, it's perfect because there's less competition at the moment.
Exactly.
So you can get your stuff out there in the mail a lot quicker than before, because before they'd be 10, 15 flyers in there. Now it's only yours or a couple of that are decided to do that.
Yeah, and I think too is, Fred, you have a deep understanding of lifetime customer value. It's 100%. It's not a transaction for you. I'll sell you a coffee, a meal. It's a relationship, right? A lifetime customer value.
As I go deeper in my presentation, that's exactly what I'm leading you. Yeah. Lifetime value. So one more thing I'll quickly show you is pizza boxes. Can you see these?
Yep. Yes.
Okay, so that's the front of the box. It's nicely presented, hard cardboard. Nice. It says a lot about the business. Black, red, prestigious colors. You got to choose it well. At the front, can you see these are coupons?
Push it a bit closer, Fred. There you go.
Oh, yeah, O'Brien.
O'Brien, and this Cucina Dolce here, you get a free rocket salad if you collect 6 coupons.
Yep.
Right. So that's one side of my box. I'm marketing that. Have a look on the other side of the box. It says here, insert BOX, get $5 off. Can you see that?
Wow.
Yeah, well, that's good.
I haven't left anything without marketing, like side, front, bottom. And if you open the box, I've even included our friends here at O'Brien. Can you see that?
Just a bit closer there, Fred. Oh yeah, your best asset.
So we've also included O'Brien on the pizza boxes, and I'll talk a little bit more about that as well. So wherever you got space for marketing, I have plastered all over the shopping arcade, open during lockdown, and I'll show you some photos just to make it a little bit clear. Another great one here is to offer surprise customer incentives. Now, what I mean by that is we've got a trackable point of sale system. It's activated via your mobile phone. So first of all, whether you're a first-time customer, the question is, hey, how'd you hear about us? And I need to know. So if you're a first-time customer and a staff member takes your call, she's got to let me know how you heard about us, whether it's Google, whether it's direct mail, whether it's a friend referral, whatever, just so I can jot it down. Hey, this lead came from here. And we reward them and say, thank you very much for letting us know. I'm going to send you a tub of gelati on the house with your order. And automatically we're blown away. Like, what's the cost of a 440 ml gelati? We make it on the premises. Not much, guys. Not much at all. Not much at all. And that's why you got to reward people. People love being rewarded. You know, we all do.
It's that acknowledgement, Fred, too, isn't it? Like, people love that acknowledgement.
100%, 100%. And then you go a step deeper, and someone that's ordered from you regular times, it pops up what they've spent at your restaurant. So it's a tracking device, and it tells us what they've spent at our restaurant. And it tells me the average spend per customer. So on his average order, it might be $60, it might be $80. And it doesn't take long for our pricing, you know, because, you know, our average fees is anywhere between $18 to $25. We're not, you know, we're value driven. We're not cheap. We're not expensive. We're value driven. That's how I positioned ourselves. You know, we're a family business. You know, we're trying to attract the right kind of people. It's like you don't want everyone to come into your business. You want the right people, and that is the problem. You don't want your A, B, C, D customers. You only want your A, B customers. And if you're really desperate, you might have your C customers. So you choose who you want to service as well. Not only does your customer choose you, you choose who you want to service. You can't service everyone and give them a great idea, great service, sorry. And a lot of restaurant owners are falling for this by introducing, you know, apps like Uber, introducing all these apps that take 35% commission. You know, they just sign up with them. They don't read the fine prints, you know, and then these apps end up advertising under your restaurant name. So whoever's coming direct to you, if someone Google Cucina Dolce and you're with Uber, it's got to go through Uber's link first because they pay more for their SEOs than you do. They're going to grab your lead and it's going to come through you. So instead of you getting that, you're going to get a cut 35%. I wouldn't work for that. So they've approached heaps of times. So, you know, you got to remember that. And that's why a lot of businesses now, they're up and roaring and they're screaming and they're going Uber and they want the government to come in. No, guys, sorry, you stuffed up. You let them in your business. You wanted everyone. You wanted to do business with everyone, you know?
Or they got lazy with their marketing, Fred. They got lazy with their marketing, lazy with their customer service, and then relying on a golden goose like Uber to deliver the goods, but that wasn't the solution.
Yeah.
And you know where they're going to go. You know where they're going to go. You know the road, where it leads to if you rely on those apps, you know? Yeah. People love getting surprise gifts from the business they do business with. This in turn turns them into raving fans. You know, we give bottles of wine away with our meal. Look, how many people do that? Well, what's the average cost of a bottle of wine? Anywhere between $5.50 to $14, guys. You got to know this. You know, you got to know your cost and your perceived value. The two separate things. You know what I mean? Customer sees it as a $30 bottle of wine. You see it as a $5.50 bottle of wine. Two different things. Yeah. To you, great. To the customer, it's great. So it's a win-win.
Hey, Oris is watching, and Oris is just so true, Fred. Uber is a blood-sucking app. Oris, love you, mate.
Good on you, Oris.
So birthday celebrations. This is open-ended what we do. And believe me, it's just on the spot moment. You know, there's no written rules in the restaurant, but the written rule is we got to make a fuss out of the people. So it could be from a simple piece of cake from a cake cabinet, a tub of gelati with sparkle and some candles. But we all make sure to sing happy birthday. The pizza makers, the chefs, the staff, everyone's yelling from everyone. Everyone's creating hand up, and we're just loving it. You know, embarrassing people, taking photos, putting on social media. They're loving it. You know what I mean? And that keeps them coming back. No one else is going to make a fuss of them. If you make a fuss of me, I'm going to come back to your establishment. It's simple. We had a case. We had a party, second week of restrictions easing in Victoria. We were allowed 20 people. So we had 18 people celebrating one of our regular birthdays, And I think they were in their 60s and they didn't want to bring a cake. So they said, no cake. We just wanted it to be a low-key event. That was an easy fix for me. There's no such thing as no cake in my mind. You know what I mean? So I actually, it was my wife and my little boy quickly got a cake together. We got, the center's right next to us. It's got everything. We brought it out, really nice presented cake, put a few strawberries on it, decorated it. And we came out as a family, everyone's coming out, the whole restaurant. And we just created so much noise, so much. And his face just went bright red, didn't know what he was doing. And he actually teared up. And I actually gave a thank you speech. I said, listen, you guys have been great for us. You've supported us through thick and thin here. And it's just our way to say thank you. And we don't see you as our customers. We see you guys as family. And we seriously do. We're not doing anything. We're not doing any sales pitch here. If you treat them with respect, if you treat them with care, they're going to do the same to you. They ended up tipping my two boys $20 each. And they ended up leaving a $50 tip. So it was $90 tip, a total bill spent of $750. The cake, you're asking how much did it cost? $25.
Yeah.
So you figure that out. The tip paid for the cake, like one of the tips.
Yeah.
You figure that out. How happy are they? They came back the following day. They thanked us. And they're here. They were there today, having their coffee. And so these were coffee customers. I converted them to dining customers. I converted them to celebration customers. Now we know the whole family. And that's in a matter of span of 6 to 8 months. It's not 6 years. I haven't known it for but I've made an effort to get to know my customers, And
they left that night, Fred, telling all their friends and family about the great experience they had.
I promise you, every one of their family members thanked us and they said, mate, they love you guys. They speak so highly of you guys. You guys are great. It's, we're friends. We do business with them, but we're friends. You can be friends and do business. You're happy to do business with friends that look after you. During the COVID-19, we weren't allowed dining. We dressed up our pizza boxes with ribbons and a birthday hat. And we got the drop saying happy birthday on the arrival,
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, little things, guys, little. And this is a major one. This is one of my mentors or our mentors. Where I can't take credit for this. He says the number one, his name is Mel Emery, as we all know him. And one thing he always says, the number one commodity in today's world is trust. I take it a little bit further as well. And the number one commodity in today's market for customer retention also is trust. So people want to deal with you, they've got to trust you. They've got to trust that you're not going to rip them off. They've got to trust you got to do the right thing by them. It's very, very important, and that's where referrals are massive. This is what we were talking about, relationship building, Steve, where you said to me before, it's you're sowing the seeds before you can harvest, in other words, as well. You know what I mean? So relationship building leads to exceptional customer retention. Just a case study I told you about O'Brien. Back in April when we opened, the directors of O'Brien visited us for a coffee, which from a coffee it led to frequent lunch visits because we introduced ourselves. We got off on a good note. Within a 12-month period, there was a marketing deal reached between ourselves, Cucina Dolce and O'Brien Real Estate to advertise on their pizza boxes for 12 months. And then that deal was approximately around $10,000. It was meant to be for a year. 4 years later, O'Brien's still investing on our pizza boxes. And that deal's generated us over $50,000. So a coffee, a lunch, a marketing deal, $50,000 later.
Yeah, that's good.
That's the stepping stones. That's what you got to think. That's what you got to think. If you're going to build businesses, a coffee's the starting point.
Yeah, that's good.
Right next to us, we're anchored next to Woolworths. We know it here as Safeway, but it's Woolworths, and this generates a lot of traffic for us, because everyone's coming to Safeway has to walk past our restaurant, our cafe. So what we actually do is we give the staff price incentives, so discounted. So their coffee, instead of paying $4.40, they pay $4 for it. Pizzas, they get $15 instead of paying $17.90 for it. And the reason why we do that is we want them to try our product.
Yeah.
If they try their product and your product's good, they're not going to go anywhere else. And the second reason is when they're asked, they promote your product to other customers in their stores. Where can I get a great coffee around here? They're going to tell them Cucina Dolce just around there. Because there's 13 other cafes in close proximity they can go to. Why are they going to come to you? Give me a reason to come to you. And this is amazing what I'm just about to share with you guys. Due to the relationship building over the years and during the crisis, we provided staff with free coffee, scones, fruit toast on a daily basis because they were doing it rough. You know, they were getting abused, they were getting yelled at. People were just flocking the stores. It was just crazy, you know. So what do you think the answer was when I asked them if I can advertise my A1 banners in front of their shop window was?
Well, I know what normally it is, Fred, right? It's no, because we're a big corporate and we don't advertise small businesses. That's normally the response, right?
Well, wait, we need to get back to head office. We'll see if we don't generally do it. So they give you the flick. Well, this is what happened. So this is Woolworths. As you can see, just in front of that car where it says TGI 351, you can see a sign there that says open. That is actually our sign. I'll give you a close look up at it. You can see it there. It says Cucina. There's another sign up front there. There you go. That stays there all the time, that A-frame. It says Cucina Dolce, open during lockdown. Coffee, pizza, pasta, and more inside arcade. Now, that's massive. You know, what would you pay for something like that? Yeah,
that's good.
It's just
relationship.
That's their beer, wine, and spirits store inside the arcade. Cucina Dolce is there front window. And that's a massive sign. It's not a little A4. You know, they're advertising us just because of the relationship building.
Yeah.
Awards and accolades. People like doing business with reputable businesses. You must stay at the top of your game. We've achieved for the last 4 years running TripAdvisor Certificate of Excellency Award, which means achieving #1 ranking on the restaurant sites and all restaurant sites in Bayside. So TripAdvisor. We got listed in the top 10 Italian restaurants by the Herald Sun, which is the major newspaper here, on 4th of January 2017. Recently, we got voted #1 best coffee, also in the Herald Sun for 2019 in October last year. So I'm not telling you these just to brag, guys. I'm just telling you this. This is where you got to work to, because
it's so important.
If your mentality is there to be #1 and to be the best at whatever you can do, these will come. Like, we never strive to get any of these. We just kept on doing what we know we're doing best, and they came. The rewards just come. When you put in the effort, the rewards come. You know what I mean? So taking these accolades helps us to retain our customers as we regularly endorsed by an accredited third party on a global scale. Like, someone else is saying how great you are, not you, which is fantastic. There's no better endorsement than that. And this leads to another thing, where customer transformation. So if a customer supports your business and is willing to do business with you, well, you better support their business as well, because they can't be just coming in and having coffee and dining at your restaurant, and you know they do a particular thing and you need that service. It's only if you need it, you go there and you go somewhere else. Why? Why wouldn't you support someone that's supporting you? So one of our regular coffee drinkers, who happens to barrack for the same team again, there you go, Carlton. Know your customers. Know what ticks them. He's our greatest friend now, and he's our refrigeration mechanic. So he comes in, he dines at the restaurant, he has his coffees, and he fixes our fridges. So it's a win-win for both of us. Some of our regular coffee drinkers have become machine repairers whenever we needed something done. So we give them the business, not someone else. Getting to know your customers. What do they do? How can I support them like they're supporting me? That's a very, very important part. And this is the front. I just wanted to show you this, the front of where we are. So this is the Chelsea Beach Arcade. You enter this to go straight to the pier, to the beach. It's an amazing beach here in Melbourne. We're on the left-hand side, Cucina Dolce. Recently, we installed heaters at the front, and that's another incentive to keep customers coming back, because, you know, they want to sit outside dining. So it's not only, you know, marketing and trying to do this and trying what I've just told you, all that. it's pinpoints. It's all these things together. So we ended up putting heaters last year outside, which cost $10,000 to put in. But guess what? Who paid for those heaters?
Yeah,
certainly me.
They did. Yeah.
I made the coffee company pay for the heaters.
Right.
That's the coffee sales. That's going to increase the coffee sales. That's going to keep people outside. So, you know, how far can you? And this is on the right-hand side was the previous coffee club, as you can see. Unfortunate, but you know, there's a full lease sign there at the moment, and that's been there for about a year and a half.
Wow.
I think people are scared to go up there, Fred, and you probably won't get a competitor there for a while.
Well, it's been locked there. We're doing a bit of work on it at the moment to see what we can do with it. So there you go. So in conclusion, this is very important. Either master retaining your customers or your competitors will. So if you don't know how to keep your customers, and if someone like me comes along, I certainly will look after them for you. That's no problem at all.
Yeah.
So it all relies on you to deliver each and every time a customer visits, not a one-off, because, you know, I can go to a place 10 times and be thrilled with their experience. And if I go there once and they don't look after me, my whole 10-time experience has just gone down the drain.
Yeah, that's good, Fred.
I hope that sort of like shone a bit of light on everybody here. And thank you, Steve and Cam, for having me on. I hope everyone enjoyed it.
Fred, thank you very much. Look, I did say at the start that, you know, you remember how people made you feel, and, you know, once again, you know, spending an hour with Fred, I don't know about you, Cam, but I've just got so many things pinging off my mind. It just feels good being around, you know, a guy like Fred, and no wonder he is so damn successful. He works hard, by the way. Let's not pretend that it's, you know, all beer and skittles, as it were. But you know, every time I've had dealings with Fred, I've left feeling really good, and that's something with all, or in addition to all of the gold that he shared today, you know, that I think, you know, people do remember that. How did you make them feel? If it wasn't great, then, you know, you've got some work to do. So, Fred, on behalf of Cam and all the listeners here today, thank you very much. Cam, have you got any comments or questions just before we do finish up?
Yeah, I would just encourage everyone to, at least once in their lifetime, check out Fred's restaurant.
Yes.
Get himself to Melbourne, look him up, get in touch with him on Facebook, and, you know, he'll look after you. And it'll be one of the most valuable experiences that you've ever had. If you're a business owner, you should go in there and experience the experience that he gives his customers, and more importantly, you know, see what you can learn from someone like Fred. Because as you could see in today's broadcast, you know, he's over-delivered in the broadcast. You know, we asked him to come on and have a chat, and he's put together a whole presentation. He's given some of his best nuggets and value away. And that's a testimony to who he is as a man and a business person. So thank you very much, Fred.
Thanks, Fred. And just to plug it again, so it's Cucina Dolce on the Nepean Highway at Chelsea and Melbourne. It is a little bit out to the southeast, a bit of a drive, but it is well worth it. You will leave there feeling great, and it will, you know, the food and everything will be fantastic. So, Fred, once again, thank you very much. It was a pleasure having you on. I'm sure the listeners got a heap out of it as well. So, Cam, do you want to just wrap up for us?
Yeah, thanks very much, everyone, for tuning in. If you've got any more questions for Fred, please drop them in the comments below if you're watching this in the replay. And Fred's already in the feed there, so he'll jump on, and I know he'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have about, you know, customer retention and adding that experience into your business. So thank you very much, everyone.
Yeah, Fred, any last thoughts or comments you wanted to make before we do finish?
Mate, just one thing, you got to be passionate. Whatever you choose, whatever field you're doing, if you're not passionate about it, get out of it. You've got to be passionate about what you're giving. You've got to be passionate about what you're doing, like what you're a master at copywriting, and everyone knows who Steve Plummer is. You know, you're the go-to man in copywriting. You know, sales, you know, Cam is just unbelievable. You know, I heard him present in his early days, and you know, the passion that he shared, the tone of voice that he presented in the seminar, and the way he went on about it, I said, gee, wow, this guy really knows his stuff, you know. So you got to be passionate, because people read through you. And if you're not passionate, if you're going into the restaurant industry, and I say this all the time. It's on my, it's on my website. If you're going into the restaurant industry for the one reason is to make money, you're going to fail.
Yeah.
Fail. You got to be passionate about it, and that will look after itself. The money will look after itself. Believe me. So whatever you choose, whatever you want to do, you got to be passionate, and you always got to strive for perfection. We don't say we make the best pizza. We don't say we make the best pasta. We let our customers do the talking. We let them tell us, and we're always looking for ways of improvement. We're always looking for better ways. The awards we won. We don't stop there. There's better things we can do. How can we do it? How can we better this product? What can we do? How can we tweak it? We're always looking for the next best thing. And that's what I leave everybody with. Never be satisfied. Never stop learning. Always keep going and keep, working as hard as you can in order to get places, because it is a competitive world out there. But with the right, you guys are delivering some amazing content throughout this pandemic. Wow, man, I've there's nights where it's midnight where I've seen Cam jump on Facebook and he's putting stuff up, and I'm going, man, you're a machine. Don't you ever sleep? And that's fantastic. All this content that you guys are giving to the general public or the people that are in your group, mate, that's worth gold, and I tell everyone, make sure you listen, make sure you tune into these guys, because you're very two well-reputable people who I have a lot of time for, and great friends of mine. So thank you very much for having me on the broadcast.
Thanks, Fred. Appreciate those kind words. Yeah, that's great. So Cucina Dolce on the Nepean Highway at Chelsea in Melbourne. If you're down that way, you have to check it out. And as Fred said, if you want to keep learning, make sure you check us out at businessreinvented.com.au, and we can help you out with a free 35-day game plan. So thank you very much for joining us. And Fred, once again, thank you on behalf of Cam. Great to see everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers.